Welcome to the Art of Precision on GIllette World Sport. Coming up today, we're in training with Bayern Munich forward Thomas Muller. We take in all the action at the 9th round of the World Rally Championship. And we get the lowdown on wake skating.
Being creative and trying to do different stuff is kind of the name of the game. It's destination Germany now as we go one-on-one with Bayern Munich FC star Thomas Muller. Since first joining Bayern Munich's youth program in 2000, Thomas Muller has become one of the first team's most vital members, praised for his pace, technique, and particularly his interpretation of space on the pitch. After signing for the senior team in 2009, the versatile forward has so far scored 161 goals for his club, and has also scored 37 international goals for Germany. As Bayern Munich returned to preseason training, Muller joined GIllette World Sport to discuss some of the elements which have been key to his success on the pitch.
Psychology is very, very important to be successful in sports because you have good moments, you have bad moments, but you have to be focused, you have to trust yourself, trust your teammates, and all happens in your brain. When you want to win the big titles, you need stamina because 90+ minutes long, you need the power and the stamina to defeat your opponent. Balance, psychologically, balance is important to feel comfortable in this business. And on the pitch, balance means a good balance between offensive plays and good defense. And you need both things to win games and be successful. Precision is more technically to shoot goals, to play great passes. You need precision, or precision describe how good you perform on the pitch. Focus is very important in sports and in other things. When you want to have a good performance, you need focus. As a professional sportsman, you need a lot of power to be successful. During a game, when there is some bad moment, you need the power, and you have to bring the power on the pitch to win the game. Support is very important for self-confidence, and of course, we play our game for our supporters. So without supporters, there's no football and no great teams. So the supporters are very important.
Time for some precision driving next as we head to the roads of Finland for the latest action of the World Rally Championship.
The fastest round of the season with the biggest jumps on the calendar. Round 9 saw the championship return to its spiritual home. All eyes were on Thierry Neuville heading into Finland after victory in Poland had seen him close the gap on current leader Sébastien Ogier. No sooner had the rally got underway on the Friday, however, when Ogier landed heavily on stage 4 and damaged his rear suspension. Moments later, he lost control of the car completely and hit a tree, which left his co-driver Julian Ingracia concussed, ending their race weekend early. Stage 4 claimed another victim as well in the shape of Voit Tanak after he ran wide, dropping 1.5 minutes down the leaderboard. Hayden Padden was next to fall victim on the stage as he clouted his suspension on the same corner, ending his running for the day. The accidents had allowed Jari-Matti Latvala to take the rally lead in the morning, but it was his teammate Esa-Pekka Lapi who shone in the afternoon, winning a wet stage 10 to claim a 4.4-second lead, raising some eyebrows in the process. As Saturday dawned, so did frustration for Thierry Neuville. With Ogier out, Neuville should have been looking to steal the championship lead, but was lacking power and struggling to break into the leading times. By the second stage, Latvala had regained the rally lead, but his rookie teammate remained hot on his heels, sometimes pushing a little too hard, but getting it right for Finland's famous Yellow House jump. Mats Otsberg never made it to the jumps after an off-road and into a ditch after 3 kilometres. It cost him 3 minutes and dropped him off the leaderboard. Stage 21 was the undoing of Chris Meek as he lost a minute after trying to cut a corner at speed and destroyed his tyre and wheel in the process. At the top of the leaderboard, disaster struck for Jari-Matti Latvala as an electrical issue left his Toyota lifeless. That handed the lead back to Lapi heading into the final day. With a lead of almost a minute, Lapi was just 34 kilometres and 4 stages away from a potential maiden WRC win in his home race. Elfyn Evans stepped it up a gear in the morning, taking the fight to the Finns at the top of the leaderboard and setting up a tense finale to the rally with just Juho Hänninen and Lapi ahead of him. Thierry Neuville was still struggling in his Hyundai and remained in 6th in what was turning out to be a missed opportunity to claim points in the title race against Ogier. As Finland's power stage beckoned, Lapi's lead had been almost cut in half to just under 38 seconds, and it was all to play for behind him. Thanks to a clear road and a neat run, Oit Tanak took the full 5 bonus points ahead of Latvala. Elfyn Evans was on a roll and lifted himself into 2nd position in the leaderboard with a time that Hänninen couldn't match, meaning he had to settle for 3rd position, as after 3 days of racing, he lost out by 0.3 of a second. Out front, though, the young Finn Lapi played it safe, and with bonus points not proving a distraction, he drove a slower final stage to make history and take his maiden WRC win at his home race. Despite finishing in 6th place, scoring 3 points in the power stage, Neuville now astonishingly is on level points with Sébastien Ogier at 160 each. He sits on top of the leaderboard as he has 3 wins to Ogier's 2. As Finland celebrates another home winner with 26-year-old Lapi, all eyes will be on Ogier and Neuville next time out in the World Rally Championship as they take on the asphalt of Rally Germany.
Next up, we lose the boots and the bindings and turn our precision focus to wake skating.
Wake skating is just kind of like skateboarding on water. Came from wakeboarding where guys are attached to their board. About 20 years ago, some guys started riding without the boots and just, waxing up the boards or putting skateboard grip tape on them and just trying to do skateboard tricks on the water. Guys started doing it, like riding like wakeboards with just traction on them, like in the late 90s. And then the first boards started getting made, right about 2000 or a little bit before then. And from there, kind of opened the doors for everybody and opened up their eyes to this whole other sport that you could do without boots. For me and for a lot of people, it was a lot more fun to do, and the possibilities were kind of endless on the tricks that we could do. I was just kind of in the right place at the right time and got into it and just kind of fell in love with the sport and have wanted to try to push the limits ever since. Orlando, where I live and where I grew up, is kind of the hub and kind of the epicenter for, water sports in general. Going out on the boat with my friends and, getting everyone loaded up and just going out, on a perfect day like it is today, and everyone just kind of taking turns and watching everyone ride and pushing the limits. So this here is my wake skate. It's a 42-inch board. Basically, the board's made out of all wood, so that's what's going to give it that weight so it won't fly away from you in the air. But we use like a combination of bamboo and maple wood just to kind of give it a little bit of flex and also just to kind of get that weight right. We tried doing them all maple like that, but they were just too heavy. So this board here is around 13 pounds. I think in wakeboards and stuff, like people are trying to get the boards as light as they can, like well, I'm super light and stuff, but for us it's kind of the opposite. I mean, the boat's doing 23 miles an hour. When you're cutting in, you're probably doing close to 30 or a little over 30 miles an hour. So if you have a really light board, as soon as you try to kick the board away from you to do a trick, it's just going to get behind you and blow away. So you can see that there's concave built into the top, side to side to kind of hold your front foot in, and then on the tail to kind of hold your back foot in, kind of like you'd see on a skateboard. We just run traditional grip tape on top. Then you just wear any normal skate shoe, just something flat soled, you know, just give you traction. Also going to protect your feet from the board, you know, hitting your foot if you crash or something like that. Behind the boat, I like this 42-inch board. Board's a lot, you know, smaller than a wakeboard and stuff, but for the tricks that we're doing, it's like kind of perfectly designed. The boat, we kind of want to like set up the same every time so it feels consistent and feels the same. Like we have GPS speed control on these boats, so you know the speed's locked into like the 1/10 of a mile per hour, and then obviously you get the wake even. Just basically makes like an endless ramp that you can just jump and, you know, back and forth until you crash. We have a ton of extra weight, like water weight, that we can put into the boat, like into ballast tanks and stuff. So basically we're just trying to put more weight in the boat to kind of sink it down in the water. It makes a little bit bigger footprint, so it makes the wake bigger. You know, the bigger the wake is, the higher you can go, and the bigger you can go and stuff. So I prefer, you know, to ride behind, you know, a big wake when I'm behind the boat and stuff. But yeah, then once you have the boat weighted up, you also want to keep the boat even too. So if you have too much weight on one side, the wake isn't even, so it'll have like white water on one side and then be kind of flat on the other side. So you try to get the boat, you know, is perfectly level, and then the wake is the same on both sides. So the takeoff and the landing are the same. Most of the tricks that we're doing on wake skates, you know, come directly from skateboarding. Obviously they look a little bit different, but yeah, we're doing like shove-its and big spins and stuff, and then, you know, guys are doing some kick flips and some flip tricks wake to wake now and stuff, which you're starting to see a lot more and more of, like, consistently. We're basically just trying to kind of look at skateboarding as like, you know, kind of like a guide for like what tricks are possible, and then trying to do them on these bigger boards with like a lot faster speeds. Being creative and trying to do different stuff is kind of the name of the game, you know, to a certain point, especially in this day and age with social media and everything else. Things have changed a lot from when I first got into the sport, when, you know, we're shooting film photos and, you know, everyone was just trying to get shots in the magazine and stuff like that, where now if you get a good photo and it shows up in a mag, you know, it's 3 months old at that point, you know, now everything's just so like instantaneous. Now we're always trying to do, you know, different stuff that people haven't seen before, and trying to do new tricks and stuff like that obviously is going to help push the sport and innovate it. There's a ton of great riders that have been coming up into the sport that are doing some amazing things, and it's just been really fun to, you know, being around since the beginning and, you know, kind of help push the sport along, and then, you know, to see where it's going now, and all the newer athletes that are coming up are just, you know, taking it to the next level.
Still to come, horse racing action from the feature event on day 2 of glorious Goodwood. And Olympic gold medalist Joe Clark relives his Rio experience. Welcome back to GIllette World Sport. Coming up, Joe Clark relives every gate on his way downstream to Olympic gold. And from the gate to the finish, we bring you the Sussex Stakes race from Goodwood. We're rewinding to the Rio Olympics now with canoe slalom K1 gold medalist Joe Clark.
The preparation for Rio really started post-London 2012. I didn't make the team in London 2012, so I was really fired up to try and go out to Rio and make the team that time. The selection process to make the Olympics was actually on the course behind me. We had 3 days of racing, winner takes all, best 2 results of 3. Pretty disappointing start for myself. I was the favourite going in. I had a 3rd place on the first day. I had a 2-second penalty, costing me the win. So day 2 was all to play for. I went out there and raced my heart out and actually won by over 3 seconds, which is something that most people don't do, especially when all the pressure's piled on. That was a stepping stone and put me in a good stead, ready for Rio. I was probably the calmest I'd been for a little bit. I'd done all the hard training, I knew I was in a good place and things were going really well. That scared me slightly because things had never gone that well into competition. And then the day came round and it was the Olympic Games, 4 years hard work. That's when it started to become a reality and the nerves set in slightly. Still in the start line for the first run of the Olympics, felt quite nervous but excited to get out there. I had a 50-second penalty in the first heat. I thought it was a bit of a harsh decision, but it was the Olympic Games. They're going to make the big calls then, if they're going to make them. Bit disappointed, went back into the changing room. Bit of a strop on actually with my coach and really had to take a half an hour to calm down. Went back out there and the second run it was all to play for, but it was that one run, it was almost like a mini final on qualification day that was going to make me get through to the semi-final. Went out there, raced my heart out and actually qualified in second place, so beat all them nerves that had built up and felt really confident coming into semi-finals day as a result of that. Probably for the first time in my career it was kind of play it safe, don't take too many risks. I knew I was capable of making the top 10 in the Olympics, so that would get me through to the final, which puts you in contention for medals. Don't go too crazy and make a big mistake because it could all be over before it's even started, and that did me good. It progressed me through into the final in third place with plenty left in the tank. Sitting in the start line of the finals, I heard a really good time from the previous guy, Peter Kauser, 88.7. It was the fastest time of the day, so I knew I had my work cut out for me. Raced at 100%, if not slightly more. Really precise around all the gates in the key areas and crossed the finish line in the 88.53. And then it kind of struck home that that was an Olympic bronze medal. There was 2 guys to go after me, and I knew that the Olympic gold medal was still a possibility. I knew the run that I'd done was the fastest of the day, but there's 2 good guys to come down still, and it's the Olympic Games, anything can happen. So I was kind of sitting there nervously waiting at the bottom, thinking, I really hope they don't go ahead of me, but almost they're my friends as well, so what will be will be. The wait at the bottom felt like hours, almost looking back at the screen thinking, oh my God, they're only at gate 4, surely it should be a bit further down than that, but the time felt like it was going in slow motion. I just wanted to fast forward 10 minutes and see the results. That kind of built it up to be even better, because when the next guy came down, it was like, he's got a silver medal, like, oh my God, I've actually got a silver medal. And then wait another 5 minutes and I knew I'd got a gold medal, and the celebrations really started from there. So it almost added to the experience of winning that Olympic medal, because it almost felt like I won an Olympic bronze, then a silver, then a gold in one experience. I think for me, I was really lucky to have my family out in Rio, so they shared all of that with me. My parents have been with me since day one. They've been like the rock for me almost. Through the ups and the downs, they've supported me financially, no end, and I can't thank them enough for that. Mum broke down in tears, Dad's a big guy, he broke down in tears, so that kind of for me was almost as good as the gold medal itself, and added to that experience of, it's my first Olympic Games, I've got to achieve my lifetime goal, and my parents are there as well, so it's kind of almost the unthinkable had been done. I think post the Olympics I've actually kind of had a different outlook on the sport. Winning the Olympic gold medal I feel like it's actually taken a bit of pressure off me. I've achieved my lifetime goal already at 24 years old. Anything now is a bonus. I obviously want to go on and try and win the World Championships, the European Championships, being world number 1. But if I don't, it's kind of still nice to look at that Olympic gold medal and say I've achieved it. So that gives me greater motivation going towards Tokyo and confidence that I can go out there and do it again. So it's great to already have it in the bag.
Time now for a look at the stories making the social headlines. Usain Bolt left a message for his fans after he had to settle for bronze in his final 100-metre race at the World Athletics Championships.
I apologize that I didn't win, but I gave it my best shot.
Neymar touched down in France to complete his transfer to Paris Saint-Germain. The €222 million deal makes the Brazilian the most expensive footballer in history. Cristiano Ronaldo once held that title, and the 32-year-old Ballon d'Or winner was making sure he's still in top shape ahead of the new season. BMX star Mike Hucker-Clark was enjoying the ramps at Sheep Hills, even finding time to pose for photographs. 5-time Super Bowl winner Tom Brady was serenaded by fans as the Patriots quarterback celebrated his 40th birthday. X Games gold medalist Jared Hughes shared this clip of him hitting the winter snow in Australia. Surfer Kai Lenny posted this footage from a recent ride in Mexico. Steve Nash made over 10,000 assists during his legendary NBA career. This week, he added another on a football field. And finally, heavyweight great Vladimir Klitschko announced his retirement from boxing.
Thanks and goodbye. I want you to continue joining me in this new and exciting journey.
Finally this week, we're at the Qatar Goodwood Festival for one of the highlights of the flat horse racing season, the Sussex Stakes.
Despite persistent rainfall and soft ground conditions, 7 horses lined up for the second day's feature race, with the final horse at the gate, Ribchester, odds-on favourite to win.
They're off. Qatar Sussex Stakes £1 million up for grabs over the mile. Ribchester got a very good break. Toscanini drops out at the back of the field, and Ribchester will lead. Lancaster Bomber now with Ryan Moore sits in second place. Here comes Wen in the pink and green jacket, is back in third position. These are followed through by Zelzal in the silver, and then the claret jacket of Lightning Spear. They're just together. Cool Company behind those. The white cap of Toscanini is at the back of the field as they head down towards the turn. And it's Ribchester and William Buick lead to the white face of Lancaster Bomber and Ryan Moore in second place. And then Jim Crowley in pink and green on Here Comes Wen. He's alongside a Sheen Murphy on Lightning Spear. Frank is next, silver jacket on Zelzal in fifth position. Then James Doyle on Toscanini. And Andrea Zeni on Cool Company as the back marker as they race on towards the home straight. They're just past the halfway stage, and it's Ribchester continues to have the advantage. He shows by just over 1 length to Lancaster Bomber, being joined by Here Comes Wen in second and third places as they move over to the grandstand side rails. Coming there is Zelzal, the silver jacket on the right. Frankie grabs the rails position. Lightning Spears behind this, then Toscanini. 2 furlongs to go. Ribchester only just in front to Here Comes Wen. Zelzal trying to get through against the running rail. Lightning Spear on the left. Lancaster Bomber behind those. And now Zelzal and Frankie Dettori move through against the running rail to join Ribchester. Here comes Wen in the pink and green. Lightning Spear furthest from us. Now it's Here Comes Wen and Lightning Spear who are going to fight out to finish. Ribchester is trying to rally behind them. Running towards the line now. Here comes Wen and Jim Crowley. Ribchester tried but failed by a neck. Lightning Spear behind those, and then Zelzal.
The Andrew Balding trained Here Comes Wen, therefore battling his way to the front in the hands of champion jockey Jim Crowley.